Today we'll be working in my workbook called uh, Building Instructions for the Tabernacle. This is on Exodus 25 to 31. Now, this is what I would call a geek book. That is, you would really have to be into the study of the Bible to really appreciate this book. But if you are, I hope this helps you. The instructions for the building of the tabernacle are given to Moses when he's up on Mount Sinai. And he will actually go up and down Mount Sinai several times during the book of Exodus. We are actually on the fourth ascent. He's on top of the mountain right now. And that started in Exodus 24 when he went up the mountain. He won't go down the mountain this whole book. But I just wanted to show you that he will have at least two more ascents and descents onto the mountain. And so he really, for a man of 80, he really travels up and down the mountain quite a bit. Anyway, we're going to go to the table of contents. Okay, we had started this book with the offerings that the Lord is asking the people to bring to build the tabernacle. And he identifies all the items that he's hoping that they will bring. He doesn't specify how much each person is to bring. He's hoping it will be just a volunteer donation. But these were all the things that he needs for the tabernacle to be built. Then he gives detailed instructions for everything that's in the tabernacle. Our chapter 1 was on building the items for inside the tabernacle. That is the Ark of the Covenant, the table of showbread, and the golden lampstand. The altar of incense actually comes up a little later as far as the instructions. Chapter 2, we now talk about outside the courtyard, building the tabernacle, the smaller tent itself. Now, confusion sometimes lies is the whole tent of meeting, that is the building inside and all the courtyard, is sometimes called tabernacle, and sometimes the building inside is called tabernacle. So building the inside of the tabernacle and built the altar for burnt offering, which is outside in the courtyard, and then the courtyard itself. And so that was in chapter 2. Chapter 3, then, God tells Moses about the clothing and the consecration for the priests and the high priests. And he has a little prelude as far as summary of all the items they're going to be. Then he goes into detail for each one, the ephod and the breastpiece, other priestly garments like the sash, the turban, the robe, the undergarments. Those are all in section 2 there. And then God tells Moses how to consecrate the priests so that they can indeed lead the worship to God. So now we're in chapter 4. And see if I can find this here. Chapter 4, the altar of incense and the wash basin. So the wash basin is outside and the altar of incense is inside. Why these were separate from the other items, don't know, but they're together. Section 1, building the instructions for the altar of incense. And this will be placed right in front of the curtain, also known as the veil, that separates the holy place from the holiest of holies. Exodus 31. Make an altar of acacia wood for burning incense. It is to be square, a cubit long, a cubit wide, and 2 cubits high. Its horns of one piece with it. Overlay the top and all the sides and the horns with pure gold, and make a gold molding around it. Make 2 gold rings for the altar below the molding, 2 on each of the opposite sides, to hold the poles used to carry it. Make the poles of acacia wood and overlay them with gold. Put the altar in front of the curtain that shields the Ark of the Covenant law, before the atonement cover that's over the tablets of covenant law, where I will meet with you. Okay, so see if I can get to that, I believe. What is the altar of incense made out of? Made out of acacia wood, overlaid with gold. Okay. And now, what are the dimensions of the altar? I got the right picture. The dimensions are 18 inches long, by 18 inches wide by 3 feet tall. What are on the 4 corners of the altar? 4 horns. What was the acacia wood overlaid with and the horns made totally of? Gold. How many total rings were made just below the molding? 2 on each side, 4 rings total. What were the poles to carry it made out of and overlaid with? Acacia wood overlaid with gold. Where was the altar of incense to be located in the tabernacle? In front of the veil that separated the holy place from the holiest of holies. Aaron must burn fragrant incense on the altar every morning when he tends the lamps. He must burn incense again when he lights the lamps at twilight, so incense will burn regularly before the Lord for the generations to come. Do not offer on this altar any other incense or any burnt offering or grain offering, and do not pour a drink offering on it. Once a year, Aaron shall make atonement on its horns. This annual atonement must be made with the blood of the atoning sin offering for the generations to come. It's most holy to the Lord. How many times a day is Aaron or the high priest to burn incense? Morning and evening, or twilight, morning and twilight. What is not to be offered on this altar? This is not going to be burnt offering, grain offering, drink offering, none of those, or any other type of incense. How many times a year was Aaron to make atonement for the altar? Once a year during the Day of Atonement. Where is the blood for this atonement to come from? From the blood of the atoning sin offering. So the Day of Atonement with the atoning sin offering, that blood then is will consecrate the altar of incense. So now we have the building instructions for the wash basin. Now this is outside. Exodus 30, 17 to 21. Then the Lord said to Moses, make a bronze basin with its bronze stand for washing. Place it between the tent of meeting and the altar, and put water in it. Aaron and his sons are to wash their hands and feet with water from it. Whenever they enter the tent of meeting, they shall wash with water so that they will not die. Also, when they approach the altar to minister by presenting a food offering to the Lord, they shall wash their hands and feet so that they will not die. This is to be a lasting ordinance for Aaron and his descendants for the generations to come. What is the wash basin made out of? Bronze. Where is the wash basin placed in the tabernacle? It's outside of the tent of meeting and the altar. What 2 times are Aaron and his sons to wash themselves? Whenever, basically, the 2 times that Aaron and his sons are to wash themselves is when they enter the tent of meeting and when they approach the brazen altar to offer a food offering. Why do they wash before doing these things? So that they will not die. Are all the generations of priests after Aaron and his sons to do this as well? Yes, indeed, they are. So this was a very short chapter. So let's go right to the crossword. Both the altar and the poles for the altar are overlaid with gold. The altar of incense sits in the front of the curtain or veil. There are horns on the 4 corners of the altar of incense. 8, the wash basin is to be placed between the tent of meeting and the brazen altar. One down, Aaron is to burn incense on the altar every morning and at twilight. 3, what is burned on this altar? Incense. The altar is made out of acacia wood, and the wash basin is made out of bronze. So that's the end of this quick and little chapter. I hope you enjoyed it.